Greetings. You're watching part 3 of 8 ways to enlist music worship leaders for your church. In this video, you'll see the last 3 ways that I mentioned for finding those leaders, as well as my conclusion. Before we begin, let me remind you, if you find this material helpful, please click the thumbs up below. And if you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. You'll find links to all of the videos in this series in the description material below. May God bless you. Now we begin part 3. A 6th way of finding music worship leaders for your church is to look to your students. Some of your students are involved in band. Some of your students may be taking piano lessons. Some of your students may sing in a chorus or with musical theater or something like that. You might find them on your survey, but look to your students and find out if any of them play an instrument. Do they play guitar? Do they play the piano? Do they sing? And then, even though they may not have the level of experience that you want at the moment, you can help provide training, encourage them in their training, in their musical growth. I remember in churches that I served that we once had what was called Youth Sunday, and the youth ministry would enlist a youth to preach the sermon, and he would come alongside the pastor, and the pastor would help him craft a sermon to deliver on Youth Sunday. A musically inclined youth would be invited to come and lead the congregational singing. If there was a youth choir, they would provide the music, the choral music for that worship service. Or if there was a soloist, a singer who was interested in singing a solo in the service. And these services gave those young people an opportunity to use gifts that God had given to them in serving their church, and to see the opportunities and possibilities for serving in their own church. They didn't have to go to another church to serve. These were just wonderful opportunities. And sometimes there would be within the church a piano player, a young piano player who could kind of work through or get through the hymns for that Youth Sunday. And sometimes you have really good youth piano players. I wouldn't want to discount that either. But I would encourage you to look to your students and see if there's a possibility of some young man or some young lady out there in your congregation who might have the gifts and abilities in music that God has given, and they may be just waiting for an opportunity to start that process of becoming a leader, a music worship leader in your church. Definitely encourage you to do that. As you find those students in your church, one of the things that you would want to think about doing is also encouraging them. Provide them the opportunity to go to music camps. I live in the state of Georgia, and the Georgia Baptist Mission Board provides a yearly camp for young musicians to come and grow in their skills and their abilities. Sometimes there are other opportunities. Perhaps it would be possible to supplement piano lessons, or even more so voice lessons, or having a voice coach, helping those young musicians to connect with perhaps a music director from another church who can help them learn the skills that they need to work in your church, to serve in your church. And would be a great opportunity for your church. A 7th way that you might find music worship leaders is to look around your community. You can go to your colleges, which are nearby. You can go to your high school, go to the band directors, the chorus leaders in your high schools, and find out from them if there are any of their students who might be willing and able to play Now, I would caution that this may cost a little money. There was one summer that I needed a bass player for our Vacation Bible School. We were providing a live group to lead our music in Vacation Bible School. And I needed a bass player, so I contacted a local high school. And there was a young man who had a great amount of skill and a great amount of ability. But in order to have him come in, we did have to give him a little stipend, a little honorarium, a little bit of pay in order for him to come and to give his time practicing with us, practicing on his own, and then showing up for the 5 nights of Vacation Bible School. We were taking up a part of his summer. We were taking up a part of his Sunday afternoons. And so we needed to do that for him. So that might be a possibility, but be aware of that. You might also find within your community retired musicians, retired ministers of music. I know of one retired minister of music who is serving in a church not far from where I'm sitting right now. He comes in on Sunday, works with their church musicians, their choir, has a great ministry going on there as a retired minister of music, working part-time in that church. Perhaps there are some retired piano teachers. Perhaps there's some retired college professors, and the list could go on, but those people may be in your community and may be willing to help you in your music ministry. They may need a little bit of pay. There might need to be a little bit budgeted for them, but it is a possibility for getting someone into your church. And then finally, in my list, the 8th item is to approach other churches. Find out if they have musicians who would be willing to come and help your church out. They may not can come every Sunday. The music director at their church may not be able to let them go every week, but perhaps those musicians could come once a month. Perhaps there could be a rotation of musicians from a variety of sources, from other churches, from other ministries that could come into your church and provide that leadership on a rotational type basis. And that would provide a way of having a music ministry. This too might need to have a little bit of budget set aside for it, but it is a possibility. Well, that's the 8 things that I had in my mind as I sat down to record this video. But I want to remind you that the first thing is the absolute most important, and that is to spend time talking to God and asking Him to lead you to the best choice, to lead you in the way you need to go, to enlist the right person in God's eyes to lead in your music worship ministry. And then when you've done that, to just trust Him to provide. Keep your eyes open, but trust that God is going to place in your church the person or people that you need to be a part of your ministry in your local church. I want to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, anything, any comments, if you have additional ideas, I encourage you to leave them in the comments below, and just keep looking up. God bless you in your church, in your ministry, and in your life. Blessings. Thank you for watching part 3 of this video series on how to enlist music worship leaders for your church. I hope that you found it helpful. If so, please click the thumbs up below, and feel free to share these videos with others you know who might be looking for music worship leaders for their church. Remember, if you have any questions about music worship ministry, feel free to ask those in the comment section. Thank you, and may God bless you as you find music worship leaders for your church and your ministry. Now, if you'd like to go back and watch parts 1 or part 2, I'll put links to them over here. You can also find links to the entire series in the description below.